What's up, everybody? Hold on 30 seconds. I got to text my babysitter. Sorry, what a horrible way to start a video. I apologize. What's up, everybody? Today we have a little bit different setup. This is a chat that we're going to have about fundraising during coronavirus. Now, I know that Sandy of Get Fully Funded put out a video about how to fundraise during coronavirus, and I just watched it. And I love Sandy. I'm a big fan of her videos. If you haven't watched her videos, you should watch them. Her channel's called Get Fully Funded. But he didn't love what she had to say about coronavirus. Her number one advice was don't panic. And although I agree with your number one advice is don't panic, I think my number one advice is continue to fundraise, continue to keep in touch with your major donors. But today, I really want to dive into holding a virtual event. This is a question I have gotten from a ton of people, my clients, and people who just are leaving comments here on YouTube. How do I hold a virtual event during this time? And should I hold a virtual event? So that is really what I want to dig into today. And if you have any questions, there's like a chat feature in the live video. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. My big goal, as you know, is to help your nonprofit raise more money. Okay, virtual events. So first of all, I live in California. My county is going on lockdown. I'm a fundraising auctioneer. My business dried up overnight. This is really hitting the nonprofit community hard. I had about 15 to 20 events booked for the spring. It was a big piece of income for me that basically dried up overnight. All of my clients have postponed their event or completely canceled their event. So if you live in the middle of the country and you think this is not going to hit you, I'm going to deliver you the bad news. This is going to hit your nonprofit, and unfortunately, it is going to hit it hard. If you have not already postponed or canceled your event, great. I have a huge piece of advice for you, and that is fundraise as much as you can between now and the time when your event is going to be canceled. If you have a 2-week window, pick up the phones. I want you to be hammering those phones 4 to 6 hours a day. This is not time for email. This is time for video and phone. This is time for donor cultivation, sponsorship cultivation, and it is a scary AF time. If you know what AF means, you should Google it. It's like, or you could probably just figure it out. But you need to raise that money. And I know your organization counts on that money and depends on that money. So the first phone calls you're going to make are to the sponsors and to the donors that have already pre-committed to your event. You want to keep them posted. Hi, how are you? Yes, for now, we're continuing with our event. We think it's going to be great. We're going to have a ton of hand sanitizer. I mentioned this previously, but also on that phone, you're going to say, if we do cancel our event, would you like to turn your sponsorship into a donation for this year, or would you like to roll it over into our next event? Would you like to keep your donation? Can we turn your tickets into a donation? Those are the conversations we want to be having now if your event has not already been postponed or canceled. You are running a fundraising, not even a marathon, a sprint. A sprint until your event is mandated, shut down by the government or the health officials. So you need to get that money now, and I know you do. And it is dialing for dollars time. You're going to start by pulling a list of each and every donor who has donated at your event for the past 5 years. Okay, we're calling people from as far back as 2015. If they came to your event and they made a donation, whether it be in your silent or your live or your special appear, your fund and need, your pledge drive, your paddle raise, you were going to ask them for money. You need to get in as much pre-committed gifts as possible now. I'm just going to show you where the chat feature is. I'm going to just write, hi guys. If you have any questions, please ask them here. I am so happy to answer them. Okay, so for those of you that have had to cancel your event or postpone your event, let's talk about why you should cancel first and why you should postpone. I am advising all my clients who have raised their goal or come close to their goal, 75 to 80% of goal in pre-event fundraising dollars, whether that be through ticket sales, sponsorship, or pre-committed asks for the pledge drive or live auction purchases. It doesn't matter to me. If you are at 80% of your goal, cancel your event. You are so close to your goal, take the money and shut down your event. Don't try to spend any money in the fall. Take the money now and put it in the bank. I think your nonprofit is going to need it. So that is what I am advising my clients. I have a client, it is a private school. They have exceeded their fundraising goal. They have 2 amazing honorees this year, and these honorees have been pounding the phones and really dialing for dollars, asking their friends and their colleagues and their business associates, and they are far over 100% of goal. I advise them to not postpone their event, but just to cancel their event, thank everyone, and host a much smaller event, probably just for major donors in the fall, at which to honor these 2 amazing individuals. But this client needs the money in the bank, and they have no costs now because they could cancel and get all their money back, and they don't have to pay for the caterer. And everyone understands the times are, I'm going to be honest, they're super scary. I have broke down crying like at least 5 times today. I have a 92-year-old grandma in Florida whose big backup plan for coronavirus is going out to eat at her favorite restaurant down the street. Like, it is super scary, and there's people out everywhere. So this is super scary times. My county was put on lockdown today. My kids are home from school for 5 weeks, and every single one of my clients has postponed or canceled. Like, this is serious times. And the Dow dropped 3,000 points today. And we know nothing hurts fundraising more than a very unstable economy or an economic downturn. Okay, so that's why you should cancel your event. Let's talk about postponing the event, and then we're going to talk about virtual events. Okay, so why postpone your event? Postponing your event, you should think about postponing your event, and I would think about pushing it to the fall. I do not think the economy is going to be recovered enough to have an event in June, July, or August. Personally, I think you're making a huge mistake. Push to the fall and push for a day that is not Saturday. Go for Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday. You want to get a date where you are not competing with an organization that already has a long-standing event on that date. So go for, again, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, or Monday. You will have just as good of a turnout. I promise you. You may have to rearrange your structure, your timeline and how it works, and we can get into that if you want. But push out to fall. So do that. But something to think about that I am telling all my clients to think about with postponing their events to the fall is if you are postponing what used to be a spring event and you're now pushing it to the fall, what are you going to do in 2021? Are you going to have that event again in March or April? And if so, does that mean you're going to do 2 fundraising events within an 8-month period? Are you going to do 2 fundraising events within one, if it is your fiscal year, within 1 fiscal year? Does that make sense? Does that bring in a huge amount of cost? Are you going to tap out your donors? Like, there are a lot of things to think of when you are postponing your event. If you are postponing your event, I want your ED, your board chair, your development chair, I don't care who it is, whoever has a lovely personality and isn't afraid to do this, make a video. I have had so many emails come in about COVID-19. I just delete them now. It is time for video. Sit down in your office. My office isn't totally clean. Look at that big pile on the floor. I mean, who cares? Sit down in front of your computer. Thank you. Sit down in front of your computer and make a video. You can even use your phone and set it up like this and hit record on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram Live. It doesn't matter. This is the time for video. If you are canceling or postponing, please, executive director, head of school, board chair, all 3, make a video explaining why you are postponing, canceling, making it virtual, and tell people what you need the money to do and why it is more important now than ever to do this. Let's take a pause for a quick moment. The nonprofit sectors that I think are going to do great during this time are food banks, I think schools, and online learning technology platforms. If you are in those spaces, I think you are in a prime space to get huge donations and do good for your community. If you're in the animal world, I think you may not receive as many donations as you used to. And I think homelessness is going to become increasingly more important as we move into the summer and fall, because I think the economy is going to have a huge effect. So I think those sectors of the nonprofit our industry of the nonprofit world are going to make you can do well during this time. Unfortunately, for the rest of us, we have work to do. Okay, so that we talked about postponing. There's a couple new people who are on here. My name's Abra. I'm a charity auctioneer. We're talking about postponing, canceling, and putting your events virtually online, and that's what we're about to pop into. There is a chat feature in YouTube Live. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comment box. They can be as detailed as you want. All my events got canceled for the spring. I am so happy to help you figure out what you should do with your event. Leave a comment, leave a chat. I will help you. Okay, let's talk about virtual events. This is where most of my questions are coming from. How do I do a virtual event, and how do I know when to do a virtual event, and should I do a virtual event? So there's two different types of things that I think as a virtual event. Number one is moving all your silent, live, fund a need, paddle raise, and raffle tickets to an online platform, such as BidPal, which is now One Cause, Greater Giving, Excel Events, Ready Set Auction, Bidding 123, Bidding Owl. There's like 9,000 platforms. They all do the same thing. Bidding for Good. They all do the same thing. You're simply going to take what was once paper and pencil silent auction. You do have to purchase this technology, and you're going to load it online. A lot of them are cloud-based, but you do need to purchase a subscription. Then you are going to push this link out to your donors. And I encourage you to push it out to everyone. Every single person on your mailing list, every single person who has ever made a donation to you, encourage them to bid. You're going to put your live auction items on there, and you're going to put your fund a need items on. Your fund a need, your pledge drive, your paddle race, whatever you call it, is going to go on there. People are going to be spending an enormous time online. My county is locked down for 3 weeks. I'm going to be living here, you guys, in my office when I'm not homeschooling my own children. People are looking for stuff to watch and do. And if you can push this out and talk about it enough and do it enough, you can make money doing an online auction. That being said, a virtual online auction needs a lot of promotion. You're going to have to push it out every single day. Your board's going to have to push it out every day to their friends and family on their social media platforms. And you're going to need to come here to YouTube, to Facebook Live, to Instagram Live, and sit down and make videos. You're going to talk about your auction items. You're going to talk about your fund need, and you're going to really get people excited and happy about them. So that is one type of virtual event. The other type of virtual event is kind of what I'm doing now, but what kind of used to happen when I was little on TV, or what they still do on NPR, which is like a telethon. So you're head of school, you're bored, you're going to get on a Zoom, you're going to get on an Instagram Live or a YouTube Live, and you're going to join your videos together. And if you want a tutorial on how to do that, let me know. Leave a comment in the comment or leave me a chat here. And you're going to sit down and you're basically going to do a telethon. You're going to take pledges over chat, over comments, over the phone, over text. You're going to get goofy. You're going to wear costumes. You're going to talk about your live auction items. You're going to talk about the school. And you're basically going to have like a telethon on the internet. This is nothing new, but if you want to have this kind of virtual event, it's going to be pretty simple and easy. You're going to need somebody with like a big personality. You're going to need to give them talking points. You're going to need to have like a little setup in their home or their office or wherever you're going to do it with props and funny things to keep people entertained. But I will tell you, look, I'm in the video space all the time. I have a YouTube channel, which I hope you guys subscribe to. Doing this free now. Well, it always was free, but I really want to help you guys raise money during this time and think about your events. Like, that's what we're going for. So subscribe, it helps me out, or hit the thumbs up button. That also helps too. I got 1 thumbs up. If anyone else watching, I know there's 5 of you, hit that thumbs up. It's so easy. Just go bing and, I'll be really excited. But I'm in this space all the time. And I am pretty sure that unless you have a very robust Facebook channel, a very robust Instagram channel, or a huge mailing list, it is going to be hard to get eyeballs. I mean, oh, that's my mom. I'll call her back. It's going to be hard to get eyeballs. And if you sit there for 5 hours, you may at one given time have like 5 to 6 people watching. But let's be real. Nobody's going to watch the whole thing. And if you could raise over $10,000, I would be super impressed. I think your time is much better spent sitting down and making personalized videos for your top donors, or even better, calling them. People are at home. They're not at work. Give them a call. Again, this is the perfect time for donor cultivation. If you want to do one of these kind of like telethon things, you can try. NPR does it. They have millions of listeners, and they beg and beg and beg and beg to raise $500 during one break. So let's just leave it at that. Okay, let's talk about the other type of virtual event, which is you bring in an auctioneer and you stream the whole thing. There are a couple organizations where I have watched their YouTube videos, and they did this, and they did it what looks like incredibly successfully. However, those events were last weekend and the weekend before. And my guess is that if you are in California, the ship has kind of sailed for those virtual events. If you are in New York, if you are in Seattle, the ship, I think, has sailed. I would love to be proven wrong. Get me wrong. Ooh, Jim Bowie gave me a thumbs up. Thanks, Jim. I would love to be proven wrong about this, but I believe it is not worth your time or money to spend your time putting on what I believe was probably, after I watched these videos, like a big smoke and mirror show. What I think happened in these videos, and I will share the videos with you so you can watch, what I think happened was that it's a school. It is not my client. I am not connected to the school. This is just my opinion as an outside fundraising consultant and auctioneer watching. It is of my opinion that this school raised a ton of money ahead of time. A ton. There's someone at my gate or at my phone. We're going to let that ring. I'm not getting it. Does anyone have a landline? Call from the That's a fundraising call coming in from somebody. That's so funny. Okay, but what I think happened, so this video that I watched had a school raising like $700,000 over a live stream in 1 hour. What I think actually happened is they had people prepped and ready to go, and good for them, who had their work is going on still, who had their gifts pre-committed. And they also had their live auction items pre-committed. Now, we did a little background research on this school. It's a private school in Portland. Last year, they had 22 or 25 auction items. They brought it down to 3 auction items. Why? Because I think those were already pre-sold. I think those were things people wanted, and they got rid of the rest. So they took it down from 22, 23 auction items, brought it down to 3. And my guess is they went to all those donors who had purchased items in 2019, live auction items, and asked them to make a gift to their pledge drive, to their fund a need, to their paddle raise in the same amount, because their fund a need was rather large. And they had an auctioneer on stage, and they were streaming this whole thing on YouTube Live. I'll share the link with you. I wonder if I can do screen and screen. I don't think YouTube Live lets you do that. But the auctioneer would like read the name and say, thank you, Jim and Kathy Smith. Thank you, Chris and Mary Martin. Thank you. And which is lovely. But why go through this whole big show with an auctioneer and a live stream? Like, what? I don't know why they needed to pay their auctioneer to come in. Like, most of us have contracts where you cancel and we keep the deposit. Like, she did a fine job. Nothing mind-blowing for this client. Oh my God, who's calling me? I don't know. Oh, it's my mom. I gotta tell her. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, I think they did a great job putting on a live stream. I think that if you're in California and you're in New York, you can't get it together right now. You cannot get a video team to come in. You cannot get like Pipe and Drape to come in Auctioneer. I can't even go to work. Like, according to the law, we're being on lockdown until April 7th. So I think this ship has sailed. If you do want to try a virtual event, I would do it without an auctioneer. As much as I love auctioneers and I think we do a great job, you know your organization the best. You know what your organization needs, what it will do with the money, and why it's important now. And if you are afraid of video, let me know. I will happily put together a quick, easy tutorial on how to make a Facebook Live video, how to make an Instagram Live video, or even how to make a video on your phone. It's easy, it's simple, and it's so important. We know that 85% of people will watch a video on Facebook, but they won't read a post, like just a verbal text post, which I think is super interesting. Get on, make some videos. If you want to sit down and thank all your donors, great. I would get on and thank all your donors in a video. I would make a video thanking all your sponsors in a video. I would get on YouTube Live or Facebook Live or Instagram Live, make videos. Virtual events, although they sound amazing, I think the time has passed. Your best bet is putting everything online on a platform, or to pick up the phone and call all your donors now. Now, before I go, I would like to remind you all that this is the time for organizations to be on the lookout for two things. Number one, to pivot in the work they do. If you are really good at doing dog training, now is the time to do dog training virtually. All the museums are doing it. If you teach dance lessons to inner city kids, teach dance lessons online, virtually. Ask for donations. Pivot in the work that you do. Be smart and use technology. The other thing you need to be on the lookout for, and I'm sure you're aware of this, in times like these, and we are going into a recession, we are going to go into a depression, there are mergers that should and will need to happen within the nonprofit community. If there is an organization in your space that is struggling, or before they're even been struggling, now is a time to sit down to see how you can best support each other. And if a merger makes sense, merge, share your assets, share your staff, figure things out. You only pay one rent. Maybe you can all squeeze into one space. There's lots of things to do. Okay, I just got a question from Patrick Leonard. What messaging tone is most effective? I see a lot of "this is so sad, we're in desperate need," or should we be doing it, "look how resilient we are"? So Patrick, this is a really great question. Definitely, "this is so sad" does not work. Unless you're a hospital or you're actually fighting work that is so sad, raising money for your organization is always about the work that you do and the need that you are filling within your community. I do think that you need to play up and talk about COVID-19 and how it is affecting your population. So if you are, Patrick, let me know, what kind of organization are you with? But I'm just going to keep talking until you write. But if you're with, let's just say, animals, I think animals are going to have a really tough time right now. Hold on, I got to text my nanny. Okay, so I think animals are going to have a really tough time. But let's say you're like the ASPCA, or you're a dog, whatever they call adoption agency. Okay, youth development and at-risk youth. Okay, let me finish my train of thought about dogs, and then we're going to get to at-risk youth. And anyone else, if you have a question, type it up. I'm here for you. Okay, so dogs. I would say, look, we are closed for the next 4 weeks, and in California, that's true. We don't have the ability to take any new dogs. Dogs are not being adopted out, but what we are going to do is we are going to make a video a day of the dogs that we have here, and we're going to feature one dog. And if you're interested in that dog, ask us questions. And we're going to talk about when no one's adopting the dogs, our costs go up. We can't do new dogs. We just are running in circles. You're going to play up on those feelings and those passions that animal lovers have. Okay, next, Patrick, youth development and at risk. And tell me a little bit more, Patrick, about what you're doing with at development, at risk youth. But I think with kids out of school and who are already at risk, I think it's going to be very hard for them to learn. It's also a lot of, we know, kids who are in lower income families don't have the technology they need to do distance learning well. So maybe you're going to fundraise for new iPads. Maybe you're going to set up a mobile truck with iPads in it, and you're going to let kids rent them out for the day or use them for the day. But what we're really going to do is the messaging. You have to come up with like a very specific messaging for now. And it doesn't need to be project based, but it needs to be based about the work that you're doing. It should not be, this is so sad. It should not be about, we're going to fight and get through this. It is because of COVID-19, because of coronavirus, new issues are emerging in our space. And we are the best, and we know youth development and at-risk youth, we know this space the best. We have the best contacts, we have the best teachers, we have the best connections with the kids, and we can make the best impact, and we need your help. I think that would be a perfect messaging, a perfect message for your organization. Now, of course, I don't know your organization inside and out, but the goal that we're going here, oh, good. You're welcome, Patrick. If you don't already subscribe, pay me back with a subscribe, which is totally free on YouTube, and it helps a girl out, trust me. But the messaging here is really, we know what to do. Now let's talk about merging for a minute. So Patrick, let's go back to your youth development and at-risk youth. I'm sure there are a lot of other organizations in your area that deal with at-risk youth. This is the time when you should be working together. This is a time for a phone call to that other executive director and see how you can be helping each other. There is $0 to waste right now during the coronavirus. If they can take over with a program or help you expand your program into a different area, or you can help take on some of their work, great. If you have an office with lots of doors and lots of space, maybe that is something where you want to house all the workers. I don't know, but talking to other organizations that do the work that you, similar to what you do, is incredibly important right now. We have to work together. I am about to sign off. This has been like 27 minutes. Thank you to all of you who are here. Again, if you have a question, let me know. Leave it down in the comments. I want to know who I can help and what I can do for you and your organization. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Stay calm, wash your hands, don't hoard toilet paper. And you could also use Kleenex as toilet paper. Why everyone's just buying toilet paper is beyond me. And that's it. I will be back probably tomorrow where we're going to talk about this again. And again, guys, love, peace, light. Your nonprofit can get through this, but it's going to take work, and it's going to take a lot of phone calls. Get on the phones, make some videos. Let's fight this together. Your nonprofit, we're stronger together. Thanks, guys, so much. I'll see you tomorrow.